Welcome to RSM's 2022 Social Housing Survey. In 2021, we were keen to know how the social housing sector was coping with Brexit and the pandemic. A year on, it's rising energy costs and the supply chain crisis that are going to affect what housing associations have planned. 2022's priorities are already shaping up to be quite different from last year's, as our latest Health of the Sector survey shows. How have Brexit and supply chain issues affected social housing organisations? The UK's departure from the EU has had a significant effect on migration, labour supplies and the availability of materials. When we last surveyed social housing organisations, there were mild concerns about the future security of the supply chain, but no one foresaw how severely the pandemic would test the chain's weaknesses. Where are housing associations seeing the biggest impact? What are housing associations expecting from the cost of living crunch and changes to universal credit? Housing associations and your residents coexist, and what will affect one will invariably affect the other. As the cost of living increases, what is the sector preparing itself for? Managing bad debts and increasing credit control costs are perennial issues, but we are starting to see the needle move decisively. What changes are social housing organisations planning in response to government policy? The Building Safety Act and the Grenfell tragedy have brought about much needed reforms for England and Wales, but in a world where funding is hard to come by, it's not surprising that the clear majority of our respondents, 84%, plan to finance their compliance with cash diverted from other projects. How are social housing organisations responding to 2022's governance challenges? We asked social housing leaders what they had planned for staff salaries, pensions, rent increases and more. The big surprises were around value for money. Many sector leaders across the UK still see it as a finance function, and in Scotland we found a desire for more emphasis on value for money reporting in financial statements. Is it now time for a Scottish value for money standard? And what is the social housing sector doing to future-proof itself? How does the social housing sector plan to address mounting environmental concerns and keep pace with new technologies and methods of construction? The adoption of modular builds is slowly but steadily growing, though that progress could be halted by ongoing issues with the supply chain, including rising costs and scarcity of materials. What's on the social housing agenda for 2022 and how will it be funded? We asked what's in store for social housing development programmes in 2022 and how organisations expect to fund them. 63% of respondents in England are having to prioritise further cost savings as a strategic move. What other options is the sector considering? We hope you enjoy this year's Social Housing Sector Survey. Thank you.